Call the meeting to order. Would you please do the roll call?
Phil,
Here.
John, Heather,
Here.
Marita, Jim,
Here.
Chris.
Here.
Thank you.
Do we have any amendments to the agenda for today's meeting? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have any amendments to the minutes from the previous meeting? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any public comments that are unrelated to agenda items for this meeting? Hearing none, we'll move on. We have nothing on the consent calendar for this meeting. We have 3 public hearing items. First is a final plat approval for an application from John and Miriam Swanson for a major subdivision and vacation of a portion of the Ramona Street right-of-way at 1320 Nordic Drive. Do we have any public testimony?
You guys know me, Dave Tinas. I'm the surveyor involved with that project. So if you have any questions or comments, you need clarifications, let me know.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just was going to say that this may seem really familiar to you because you've already approved it one time.
Yeah.
And the change is the original version had Ramona Street consolidated with Lot 10B. And after you approved that and we talked to the owners, there was some discussion because that Lot 10B is have an agreement with the neighbor about right of first refusal for Lot 10B. And so then they just wanted to keep 10B as is. And so now you're approving one with the consolidation of the right of way with their main lot, with Lot 1A. So it just is the same thing as being vacated, but instead of being attached to the lot to the south, it's being attached to the lot to the north. And that's the only difference.
Thank you for the clarification. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the Swan subdivision, including vacation of a portion of the Ramona Street Row, along with the findings of fact and conditions of approval as presented.
Discussion. With Liz's clarification, it looks very straightforward to me, so. Would you please do the roll call?
Chris,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Phil. Thank you.
Okay, next we have a recommendation to the Borough Assembly to rezone Lot 13B, plat 2008-15 from rural residential to single-family residential at 1020 Sandy Beach Road. Do we have any public testimony? Hearing none. Do we have a motion?
I move to recommend to the Borough Assembly that the Borough zoning map be amended by rezoning Lot 13B, Plot 2008-15 from rural residential to single-family residential, including findings of fact as presented.
Discussion?
So just so people are aware, one of the biggest differences is that on the rural, it requires 1 acre. And going to single family, it's 8,000 square feet. And you could put duplex, you can change the use of it. So that's the biggest difference.
Any further discussion, comments? Anything?
Seems like a good proposal to me.
Would you please do the roll call?
Jim,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Phil. Thank you.
Okay, next we have a recommendation to the Borough Assembly to establish a marine industrial overlay district at the Port Dock area and its Scow Bay turnaround area. Do we have any public testimony? Please step to the microphone and state your name.
Oh, okay. Well, I recently purchased property in the port area. And I know there was a controversy way back when school buses showed up and coffee shops and stuff on the adjoining property. And I had a little problem with that, that it's supposed to be zoned, commercial for marine businesses. But every business is marine. It's all marine related. Coffee shop, fishermen buy coffee there. Bus place, kids ride to school. So it's all still, the way it's zoned now, it's fine. I mean, there's nothing you're gonna do to change it. If you're gonna try to make it strictly marine, who's gonna say what's marine related? Who's gonna say it isn't? And you guys are gonna have a big task there because you're gonna dictate what goes in there. But everything here is marine related, so I don't see any point to making it marine only related, because it already is, basically. If somebody hired a lawyer, they could say, well, you said marine, and you guys could all say, nope, I don't think that qualifies in my thinking. You just hire a lawyer, and they'll say, no, it's marine related. The whole town's marine related. So I don't see any point to it. And I know at one time, Reed's property over there, John Reed, who's got the point there, they were trying to rezone that to marine only. This was 2-3 years ago. And it was just like, what's that got to do with the turnaround down there? That's, it's kind of, that's what I'm thinking. I just don't agree with making it that. Anything is going to tie into that, so we're just wasting a lot of money revamping all that stuff. And then that gives, like when I was there, that was fine because I was going to be marine related. But if I said I was just going to work on trucks and cars, Harbor would have said, nope. That's the way it'd be. So it's kind of hard for us to think how they're going to dictate that. It's going to be a hard deal. So anyway, I'd say don't do it. Just leave it alone.
I have a question.
Sure.
What property were you referring to that was tried to be changed earlier? A Reed property? What-
That was John Reed's over there where Elda lived there, out on the point, adjacent to, in Scow Bay, adjacent to the
Where the
Scow
dock
Bay
is?
property is.
Where the dock is?
No, there's
No.
no dock there.
Where the state turnaround is.
Oh, the state turnaround. is-
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
his property's to the south of that.
would be
Oh,
just
I know
south of
which
there.
property.
That whole
I'm so
point.
sorry.
Yeah, the whole point there.
I see. And that's private owned property.
Yes, yes. And he was thinking at one time of dividing it in and selling it for lots. He's
I
not.
know exactly now which.
He's
I'm
not
sorry.
now. He just rebuilt the house and they're just gonna, let the next generation worry
Right,
about it.
but
But at one
you're
time,
saying-
they were telling them they're gonna make it marine commercial property. They're gonna rezone it all there.
So if I follow you right, you're saying that down the road, private property could be forced to
They could
come under
rezone it.
this overlay.
Yeah, they could rezone it whatever they want. Any property here. I mean, it's just up to, if they want to do it and then say, you're rezoned commercial marine, so then I suppose it would be, so if you tried to sell it to somebody that wasn't going to have a commercial marine thing there, then they could dictate that. But like I said, you get a lawyer, it's all tied to marine anyway, so it's a marine town, so that's a pretty hard one to, if you get somebody that's gonna take the battle on, I think it's kind of a waste. But it used to tick me off, but I guess I've grown a little and realized it's all tied together. School buses are the kids, so is the coffee shop. They're making a product there, so that's industrial, so what the heck? We don't have much industry here. Logging's gone. It's never coming back, so we gotta take what we can find. Anyway, that's what I got to say.
Thank you.
Harbor Master Wolin here. I'm hoping that you will support this. We have had many, 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 many decades of trying to protect waterfront property for specific reasons. We aren't making any more waterfront property. We need to support the waterfront. A big part of this, the value of this land is it's on the water side of the main highway. And so in, the case of John's particular business, he could tie boats up at the face of the port dock, lift off whatever needed to be lifted off and bring it right to his shop. If you're going to do turn it into a vehicle maintenance shop, that could be done anywhere. That doesn't need to be on the waterfront. So yes, I do think that you need to have some real distinctive overlay, because we've sold the property now, that really identifies the needs associated for a community that is based upon marine industrial use. And I'm hoping that this overlay will slow the roll for outside businesses. I mean, we've had instances where people have wanted to come buy Ace Electronics building and turn it into a quilt shop. And those kind of things wouldn't mesh well with adjacent to a shipyard that is, doing noisy, smelly business type activities. So I think we have identified this many, many years ago. My dad was on the harbor board when they purchased the property from the state to develop it, and it was seen as a marine industrial park. And John, came before and got that property and did a successful business there, and we need to protect that. Other businesses can go somewhere else and do fine, not marine or not waterfront dependent. So I think this is a stance for the borough to say we really put our money behind, or our feeling behind keeping property marine industrial.
Thank you, Glo.
Yeah.
So I think marine is really kind of a gray term. I mean, it's kind of a generic. What it really says is water dependent uses, especially commercial fishing. So in the spirit of that, I would think we would have some say about actually what goes there. I mean, yeah, if you look at Ketchikan and the tourism industry, they've bought up a majority of downtown Ketchikan and are using it for tourism. That is a marine dependent, I suppose, but when you throw in the coffee shops and the hotels and the gift shops, and so I would hope that we would have some good direction on what goes in there and what's being used for.
So if you actually read through this, it does spell out a lot of things, and it actually even has retail businesses as long as their predominant business is marine related. But you could have a coffee shop inside a marine business and still fill what they're saying. But the other thing is that there's a caveat on here, it's 19.6A, so I actually read it. So any businesses that are currently in, like the coffee shop, they're not going to be able to force them to change that because it's already there. It's an existing business. So if you actually read through the whole zoning thing, the only thing they can't do is they can't add on to it or take up more space for it than the existing footprint. Because you could say that the gas station is not marine based, even though people drive their boats through there and fill it, so it is. So.
I guess I'd like to say that I think part of the charm of living in on a little village, a little on the waterfront, seeing diverse uses. It's kind of nice to go into I remember when you used to be able to go and eat food over by where Ace is now. Somewhere along there was the Nielsen's. And so I liked that. You'd go in, you'd buy your rolls and your cookies, and you could sit and have soup, which reminded me of other places around Southeast where we have a diverse waterfront, like where there is a diverse waterfront like that. So I kind of don't like the overlay.
Thank you. Um, any further comments or do we need to make a
Oh,
we
I
need to
have a
make a
question.
motion?
Does this affect the, well, the fire department's already there. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah.
I asked my own question.
Okay. Um, do we have a motion?
I lost my page. I'm, excuse me, I move to recommend to the Borough Assembly that Title 19 be amended by adding Section 19.5 Marine Industrial Overlay attached here for reference along with the findings of fact as presented.
Second?
Can we table this for more discussion? I'm just wondering.
Liz?
I think you need a second first before you can even discuss tabling.
Guess I'll second it.
Okay. And we would be recommended to continue it to an additional meeting, not second,
Phone, yeah.
or not table it rather.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Second.
we got a second discussion.
Oh, discussion, okay.
Yeah, so now we can discuss.
Well, I was
technically.
thinking, it'd be nice to have John here. He's
Yeah,
ex-commercial fisherman, so on the board might have something to say about it. Seems like we could use a few more opinions and think about,
yeah, right now we'd have to be unanimous,
yeah.
for it to pass,
Mhm.
so. So is it all in agreement that would be best to continue this to a additional meeting?
I'm fine with continuing.
Okay. So do we need to make, do a vote on that, Liz, or how do you?
I think someone needs to make a motion to postpone to the, I assume, January meeting.
Okay,
Yeah. And we'll put it on the agenda for January.
okay.
I move that we postpone, continue the conversation in the January meeting.
All in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Okay. Do we have any commissioner, comments? Hearing none, staff comments, Liz?
Our next meeting is January 14th, and just if anyone, as you know, whether you will, if you are not going to be here, if you could let us know, myself or Anna, we'd certainly appreciate that.
I should be here.
Okay, great. Thank you. And probably the next meeting will have the calendar for you for the coming year, so you'll know, even though it's always the second Tuesday, but we'll actually have the dates for you, so.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll be here for that meeting. So. All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.